This review video is about adding and subtracting fractions. Now when I'm adding and subtracting fractions, the reason I put those together is because I just need to follow the same basic procedure. So I'm going to be finding common denominators to put those pieces together. So I have 3/4 plus 2/3, for instance. So if I have something like this, I actually prefer to write them vertically because for me that helps me see my equal fractions better, but you could do whatever works for you. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite it vertically as 3/4 plus 2/3 and look at my equal fractions off to the right. So looking here, 4 and 3. So I want to think about a number that's going to work with those. So I want to find my the least common denominator, which is my least common factor. When I'm looking at these numbers, I can also always just multiply them together. So that might not be the easiest number to work with, but it's going to be still something that works. So it doesn't really matter that much. So I could always multiply them. For this, it happens to work best, actually, if I do multiply them. So 4 times 3 equals 12. So when I think just focusing on this one, okay, when I think about 3/4 equaling some 12ths, I want to think, what number do I multiply by to get to 12? Remember, I have to multiply or divide. I cannot add or subtract to move these common denominators. So 4 times 3 equals 12. If I do something to my denominator, I have to do it to my numerator. So 3 times 3 equals 9. So 9/12 is the same as 3/4. I could see that even on something like my blocks. If I have 3/4, that is the same as 9/12. Those are the same. And there are 3/12 per 1/4. Here when I look at 2/3 to 12ths, I think 3 times what gets me to 12? 3 times 4 gets me to 12. If I do something to my denominator, I have to do it to my numerator, so 2 times 4 equals 8. Now I have 9/8 plus 8. 9/12 plus 8/12. So if you can't read it vertically as well, you could also rewrite that horizontally. So 9/12 plus 8/12, and you can see now I just have common denominators. So I'm just adding my numerators, leaving my denominator as is. 9 plus 8 equals 17. 17/12. Remember, I can use my dots if I weren't sure, so I could just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and I can say this 12/12 is a whole, and then I have 5 left over that didn't belong in a group of 12, so I get 1 and 5/12. Or I could look at this as how many times does 12 fit into 17. 12 fits 1 time with 5 left over because 17 minus 5 equals 12. So that's how I would add those two fractions. If I were subtracting, do 4/5 minus 1/3. I'm going to go ahead and look at common denominators. So once again, it's actually easiest for me to do 5 times 3. So I'll do 15. In that case, I multiply this by 3, and I get 4 times 3 equals 12. Here, I have 3 times 5 to get to 15. 1 times 5 equals 5. Now remember, I'm subtracting, so I just subtract my numerators. 12 minus 5 equals 7, 7/15. I can't simplify that anymore, so that is my answer. So adding and subtracting fractions, remember that I need to find those common denominators. And that might be one of the numbers that already exists. So let's say that I had 1/4 minus 3/20. So 4 can go into 20. So I can just do the 1 that I need to do, and I'm going to leave this 20th by itself. I wouldn't need to then do 20 times 4 to get anything, because the bigger number happens to be a multiple of this other number. So then I have 5/20 minus 3/20 is equal to 2/20, also equal to 1/10.